or close to it, since we all met with Panic Away, on Panic Away, and we were all a mess. Dying.
Hot mess.
Crazy.
Barely functional.
Barely functional and crazy. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Could not be alone.
And scared out of our minds.
Thought we were going to die.
We're all there.
And we laugh now because we can.
My sister had gone out somewhere to play, and I experienced my first panic attack, a total irrational panic episode. I was terrified that she had been kidnapped, and I just had a full-on panic attack at 11 years old, and then afterwards I suffered the general anxiety and basically was bedridden for a week and a half, and I'm from a small town, and nobody knew what was wrong with me, including my parents. I couldn't get a diagnosis from anybody.
I remember 2 years ago when we went to Edinburgh, and of course I didn't know this one move technique then, and it was a nightmare, that holiday, because I remember we went to Edinburgh Castle and I was on the verge of a panic attack all the time there. It was really bad.
I'm 73 years old. I've had it since I was in my teens. If only I could have had your book, or somebody could have opened the door as you did all those years ago, I would have had a different life.
I couldn't even barely leave the house. You know, I mean, I had to go to work. I was one who did have some little helpers, I called them. I had to. Mommy's little helpers.
And I'd go to the doctor there, and I'd be like, well, what about this? Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. He tested me for everything under the sun, and he kept telling me, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And I actually grew to hate that.
Even with information, nothing was helping me. Seriously, nothing.
Of course, I went down the route of going to a GP, telling him about my anxiety attacks, and I couldn't cope with lots of situations, and I mean, things were a nightmare. I mean, having babies and being taken into hospital, as much as I loved having babies, it wasn't having a baby that ever bothered me. I would have had 10 babies. I loved having babies. It was the restriction and the fear of not being able to do that I wanted to do, and it was just the most awful feeling. It was just hideous. It was just not living, but I wasn't aware of the fact, because it was part of my life. I just got used to being in this awful state. I mean, so much so that just going to see my kids in a concert at school was absolutely horrific, because I'd go in knowing that I was going to sit there with my hands clenched and I'd be wringing wet through. My kids were on stage and all I wanted to do was relax and enjoy what they were doing, but I couldn't wait to get out.
And then I went online one day and researched, I think the search term I did was celebrities with anxiety or something, and your ad popped up, and I was intrigued, so I clicked on it, and I read all the testimonials, and I read everything on your page, and then I bought the book, and within the first page I was just like, eureka! It's just the fact that you had identified exactly what I'd been feeling for the past 20 years and not getting any information about. That was, even just reading that, I felt, a great deal of relief. And yeah, it truly changed my life, so.
I was walking at Walmart today, and I remember when I had anxiety and I went into Walmart one day and it was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like freaking out. The store was so huge, and but I went there today and I had a little tiny twinge of remembrance, and I'm like, whatever. I just kept going.
You're gone.
Fear just drains you of everything, and it's so hard to handle. But you gave me the method, you gave me the reason. I read your book, and once I read it, I thought, well, there we go. That's the answer. Now you start to do it. I mean, your book is in the side of my bed. It's always there. If I need to look at it, I do. I'm not saying I don't need you anymore, because it's lovely to know you're around.
Yeah.
But your method has made me realise what to do and what not to do, and it gets better every day.
It basically caused me to change my whole lifestyle. I got out of that career. I moved out to the country with my wife and kids and lead a really quiet, nice life, and that's what works for me. And I don't have panic attacks or anxiety anymore. And if I do have anxiety, I know how to deal with it. I'm married and I do have kids now, and I feel like if I hadn't gotten a hold of your book, I think, yeah, I definitely don't think I would be enjoying life to its fullest, and I don't think I would be as good as there for my kids and my wife as I am now. So.
If you're watching this video and you haven't bought Panic Away yet and you feel as crappy as we all did before we bought it,
Oh my God.
pay that
so worth it.
however
Barry
much it
is a genius.
The forum that you can talk to people.
The
There's
video.
always somebody on. It's worldwide. There's always someone you can chat with.
Yeah. Even when you can't sleep
That
at
is
3
going
o'clock in
through
the morning.
Hey, not only that, but you can meet friends.
Look it up. We'd like the best of us.
And I sit here today, not having a panic attacks anymore. Things I used to be scared of, like leaving the house, no problem at all. So I feel like my freedom has been given back to me, and I wonder how my life would have turned out if I didn't find the Panic Away site. Probably I would still be going in and out of institutions, or just lying in my bed every single day being scared.
So all we need to do is we need to keep on being persistent and keep on persevering and doing our exercises, and as well letting it flow, accepting that when we do get our anxiety that we accept it, and that we know as well that we have the tools to tackle it. I wish you every success, each and every one of you, and we know that we will get there in the end. Cheers for now. Enjoy the view.